Before we begin, if you're new here, subscribe now. Every story we tell is a life that deserves more than a headline. If this case moves you, hit like. It helps more people find it. The apartment was quiet at first. 10:30 at night, March 7, 2016, Chevrolet, Maryland, children inside already settling in for the night. Then neighbors heard arguing, then 3 gunshots, then footsteps running down the stairs, a door slamming, then nothing. Neighbor William McNeely told WTOP exactly what he heard. "I heard 3 rapid bangs. Someone ran down the steps, slammed the door and was gone." When police arrived, they found 2 women inside that apartment. Tarika Jones, 26 years old, a mother of 3. Jalissa Walls Harris, 22 years old, a singer with a voice her family said could stop a room. Both had been shot multiple times. Both were pronounced dead at the scene. Tarika's 3 daughters, including a 5-year-old, had been inside that apartment the entire time. The suspect was already gone, but what investigators were about to uncover would break hearts across Prince George's County and force a reckoning with a system that had every chance to prevent this night. Tarika Jones was the kind of woman her neighborhood noticed, not because of anything dramatic, but because of the quiet way she kept everything together. A relative told the Washington Post she was a hard-working young lady making things happen for her and her kids. She was a really good mom. Dallery Beard, who had known Tarika since infancy, remembered her this way. "For a young girl, she was the best mom. I had never seen a young girl so strong. She took care of her girls like they were all beauty queens." Jalissa Walls Harris was Tarika's half-sister, 22 years old, visiting from Bowie that night. She worked at Buffalo Wild Wings. She was enrolled at Prince George's Community College, and she had been singing since she was a little girl. Her mother, LaShawn Harris, said simply, she was going to sing. That was her passion. At just 7 years old, Jalissa had auditioned at Howard University, singing A Whole New World from Aladdin. In the days before her death, she was preparing for another performance audition. One woman was a mother fighting every day to build a safer life for her daughters. The other was a dreamer standing on the edge of something beautiful. Both of them deserved so much more time. Kevin Tyrus Reynolds was 30 years old, Tarika's ex-boyfriend, and the father of one of her 3 daughters. Family members told NBC4 Washington that Tarika had ended the relationship and that Reynolds was having a hard time moving on. On February 10, 2016, Reynolds came to Tarika's apartment to drop off their daughter. What should have been a routine exchange turned violent. According to court documents obtained by the Washington Post, Reynolds threw Tarika to the ground, began to drag her, then pulled out a gun and pointed it at her head. He told her, "You are going to get what you are going to get." He was arrested on March 1st and held without bond. He should have stayed in that cell, but the next part of this story is where everything falls apart and where we must be careful never to place blame on the wrong person. On March 2nd, Reynolds appeared before a judge. Tarika Jones was also in that courtroom. She stood before the judge and said she did not want to pursue the charges. She disputed the officer's account. She minimized what Reynolds had done to her. The judge reduced Reynolds' bond to $20,000. Tarika posted the $2,000 needed to free him. She walked out of that courthouse. Kevin Reynolds walked out behind her. 6 days later, he came back. March 7, 2016. Shortly after 10:30 p.m., Reynolds arrived at the apartment on Landover Road. An argument began. It escalated fast. 3 gunshots. Footsteps running. A door slamming shut. Tarika Jones was dead. Jalissa Walls-Harris, who had come simply to be with her sister that night, was dead, both shot multiple times. Jalissa's mother later said she believed Jalissa had gone to the apartment as a buffer, thinking Reynolds would not act if someone else was there. I feel that my baby felt if she was there, that he wouldn't do that because she was there. She was wrong, and it cost her everything. Tarika's youngest daughter, 5 years old, had witnessed the shooting. She knew the man by name. Her identification helped police confirm their suspect within hours. By the morning of March 8th, detectives had issued a warrant for Kevin Reynolds. Hours later, the Hanover County Sheriff's Office in Ashland, Virginia found him in a car, dead from a self-inflicted gunshot wound. No trial, no courtroom, no verdict. Reynolds made certain of that. State's Attorney Angela Brooks was direct. I wish we had kept him in jail. Absolutely, I wish we had kept him in jail. Since the start of 2016, 8 homicides in Prince George's County had been attributed to domestic violence. 1 victim every 8 days. It's horrific, Brooks told NBC4 Washington. Family violence dominates what we are seeing in homicides. County Executive Russian Baker announced $1 million for domestic violence prevention. Brooks pushed legislation in Annapolis to expand the legal definition of domestic violence, allowing protective orders for threats and harassment, not just physical violence. Here is what must be said clearly. Tarika Jones is not responsible for what Kevin Reynolds did. Victims recant. Victims protect their abusers. Victims post their bail, not because they are weak, but because the psychology of abuse is engineered to make leaving feel impossible. Fear of retaliation, economic dependency, co-parenting, hope that things will change, shame. The reasons are real and they are documented by decades of research. Walking away from an abuser is not a single decision. It is a process, and sometimes the most dangerous moment of that process is right after you try to leave. Reynolds had been held without bond. He had pointed a gun at her head. He had told her exactly what he intended to do. That was all on record. The warning signs were visible to the system, and the system released him anyway. At Jalissa's candlelight vigil in Suitland, her family played a recording of her singing. Her voice filled the night air. People who had never even met her stood still and listened, tears running down their faces. That voice, the one she had been nurturing since she was 7 years old, was the last gift she gave her community. A year later, on what would have been Jalissa's 23rd birthday, her family gathered at a park and released balloons. LaShawn Harris spoke to every parent watching. Just let them know what they're worth. That's just what I'm trying to do with my daughters. Tarika Jones was 26 years old. She was devoted, she was strong, she was trying to build something safer for her girls. She deserved every chance to do that. Jalissa Walls-Harris was 22 years old. She ran toward her sister when things got hard. That love is what took her life. Neither of these women deserved what happened to them. If you or someone you know is experiencing domestic violence, help is available right now. Call the National Domestic Violence Hotline at 1-800-799-7233 or text START to 88788. available every hour of every day. Leave a comment below. Subscribe so you never miss a story like this one. And if this video reached you, a like helps us get these women's stories in front of more people. They deserve to be remembered for how they lived. One question before you go. Reynolds had been arrested. The warning signs were documented. The system had him, and then it let him go. What do you believe needs to change in how courts respond to domestic violence threats so that the next Tariqa gets to come home?